Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we are back again with another ranked up champion. So I did end up ranking my Invisible Woman to rank 4. I will first things first, let's get in Realm of Legends. Check her damage out against this Realm of Legends Winter Soldier, and after that I will talk about my reasonings, what I like and what I don't like about Invisible Woman, and exactly why I took her to rank 4 as a 5-star. But yeah, so let's get started there. We're gonna activate our pre-fight ability, which basically kind of lowers the effectiveness and potence and uptime of our force field. However, it does increase our damage output, which is cool. And even though with this kind of like pre-fight ability active, she still benefits from force field enough to mitigate the suicide damage, which is quite cool. I definitely like that mechanic. So our main goal currently is to basically just push Winter Soldier safely to his side of the wall. At the same time, I do not obviously want to get kicked out from my invisible mode, because then I will lose my vulnerabilities and that would suck for my damage output. But so far so good. We have 10 of these now. I'm not going to be trying to get these up too much on purpose. I might do a couple here and there, because I do want to keep the fight at his corner kind of thing. But we get vulnerability every time we dex basically, and that is quite easy against Winter Soldier, just because we can get 2 of those every time he shoots a level 1 attack. We can get more if we dex at beginning of level 1, but that is a bit harder. But to dex his bullets is always quite easy. We all have had so much experience doing that, and that's not the hardest thing to do in the world. Now, at the same time, I can try and build up a couple while he's below 1 bar of power, because then I can just hit his block, push him past bar of power, bait out that level 1 and get my opening that way. At the same point, we have gotten to 27 vulnerabilities, which is quite good. Now, there for some reason he dropped his block, which worked out. And yeah, we're at 31 now, so we can see that we're dealing a lot of extra damage. Definitely starts to add up. Also, do notice that this fight is with a class disadvantage, so damage is gimped up a bit, but that was a nice level 2 there. Definitely can't complain about that one. And now we have 38 of these, so we're pretty much balling here. So now again he decided to help us out, drop his block. So we got our opening, he's at 40. So our damage output is close to max at this point. 42, perfect. Let's let him drop that level 1, 44. Very good, very good. So there we go. Bait out another 45, 47, and this should pretty much kill him. So let's see how that goes. 11k plus 22 extra damage, 19. Geez, that was a good level 2 and definitely felt good. 86 hits with class disadvantage. That's solid. That's definitely solid. It's up there. It's not a lot. It wasn't hard. It wasn't a difficult fight. And here is a thing that I do love about Invisible Woman. She benefits you for playing well. That is a character that I like to play, and that is a character that kind of like forces me to try and play better. But yeah, let's go over. So first things first, Invisible Woman, I think she's extremely underrated as a champion. I think she has much more potential than people think she does. Now, I haven't had the most amount of experience with her, but there are some things that I definitely do see in the character that I like, and I definitely want to kind of like look into further. That's why I also took her to rank 4, because at rank 4 she's pretty much good to enter and try out for majority of the content in the game. But yeah, so first things first, she's good at suicides. She's really good at suicides. Even though she doesn't have any immunities, her force field mechanic basically leaves those debuffs on you, but it mitigates the damage. However, willpower heal is still there, so it means that your willpower nets positive pretty much throughout the entire fight. And that also damage mitigation affects your recall. If your force field is active, it can eat the recall damage, so on and so forth. So basically, so long as you have Suicide Masteries up, she's going to be healing from them. So she's one of those champions that actually benefits from using suicide pretty much under all the circumstances, aside from one exception of the strategy where you get mega damage if you amp up your force field, but that typically isn't too realistic and reliable thing to do, because I have showcased that in my Impractical But Fun series, where she hit insane level 2s, like a 3-star or 4-star, I think. But yeah, that takes a lot of time and patience and precision to be able to build up that force field to like incredible amounts, because that fury she can get from level 2 scales with the strength of the force field, and that's just interesting, but it's not true practical, and that's not something you would want to do in an average fight anyways. So back to the point, she does run suicides extremely well. She's one of the better champions with suicide masteries. She leaves the debuffs, she continuously heals, so whenever you want heal, it's there. Also, the fact that you can kind of control how much you will heal and how rapidly you will heal is quite awesome, because her pre-fight ability gives her more damage, but it consumes your force field faster. It consumes 5% of your force field every time you land a hit on opponent. So if you activate pre-fight ability, you do more damage, but you deplete your force field quicker, therefore it's not active for longer periods of time, therefore you heal less. However, that heal is still enough to mitigate the suicides and the recoil and all that stuff. On the other side, if you have sustained damage in previous fight, do not activate your pre-fight ability. You will deal slightly less damage, however your force field will be more potent and you will get more heal. So that is something kind of keep in mind. That is also how you should figure out when to use or not to use your pre-fight ability. Basically use it for every fight where you do not need healing as much. When you need to heal more or somehow mitigate more block damage, for instance, don't use your pre-fight ability. But the main point that I like about Invisible Woman is the principle that she's a character that rewards you extremely generously for playing the game well. She's one of those champions that try and inspire you to be better, to play better, to train harder, and you kind of like are self-critical while playing with Invisible Woman, because every time you kind of mess up, you lose your damage output, and that's gonna annoy you, and you want to make sure that doesn't happen again. However, on the other side, she's also extremely forgiving character, because whenever you mess up, whenever you will miss that intercept, whenever you would like eat a hit and block, you don't take any actual form of damage. Even if opponent kind of tries to tee off on you after a failed intercept, you are invisible still for 2 seconds. That means they can hit you, you take no damage, and you can recover yourself. You can use that moment to basically counter-attack opponent, even though invisibility is going to wear off, but it still can serve a purpose of giving you an extra easy option for an opening. Or you can just dash away and you're going to be safe. And that's the point, kind of like, she's a champion that rewards you for playing well. At the same time, she's a champion that forgives you for your mistakes, saves your health, saves your potions, in addition to all the heals she does anyways. She also kind of like lets you make mistakes and be okay with it. And I do appreciate that. And I think that's kind of like a big contrast to, let's say, Stark Spider-Man, which is the biggest thing I don't like about the character. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dig on the character. I do know he's a good champ and all that, and there are many people who do absolutely like playing with him, but I don't. And the reason why I don't is because he has one of the lowest health pools. He's fairly flimsy, and addition to that, you're basically forced to put yourself in danger at beginning of every fight to build up your poise charges. So in conclusion, you basically have a character that has very little health, so he definitely can't spare any kind of like health at all for mistakes. And you purposely kind of like put yourself in danger trying to dex, and you do that at the beginning of every fight. If you do mess up in the beginning, which does happen regardless of how good or bad you are, you have done no damage the entire fight. You have wasted health, you have wasted your time, and you're just annoyed. And even if you don't die, you might get clipped below 50%. That already kind of like reduces your damage and makes the rest of the quest harder. So it's one of those high risk situations which I don't think there is logical reason for anybody to kind of like subject themselves if you can avoid it, if you have different options. And Invisible Woman is one of those options, because she works similarly. Building vulnerability is basically exactly the same as building Stark Spider-Man's poise charges, but at the same time you don't get punished if you do make a mistake. Additionally, you can do that throughout the entire fight. They don't wear off unless you make a mistake. and your damage output is just going to keep going up and up and up. Now, I do think that they missed the ball with an invisible woman a bit when it comes to numbers. I do think 50 vulnerability is a bit too much. I wish they dropped it down to like 10 or 20, maybe 25, and then increase the potency that those vulnerabilities give to you, and like that attack bonus. That would be so much better. And if they did that, invisible woman would be, in my opinion, many ways better than Staffing Hand Spider-Man is. But yeah, that is about it. That's why I rank her up. That's why I'm looking forward to bringing her in more content, because as I mentioned, as a rank 4, she should be strong enough to kind of like test and try out in majority of Act 6 path, maybe not everything, but should be fine, and variants and stuff like that, because that is a decent power level to kind of like showcase her abilities throughout the contest and put them in kind of like relative easily comparison with rank 5 champions or other rank 4 champions, which is what most people are accustomed to. But yeah, that will do for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya!